For those who...
What we do here is go back.
Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hey, welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha, and it is, what's today? Tuesday. Hey. Seems like we just did this last night, you guys. What's up with that? Anyway, represent. We're rocking the Mecha Army today. Represent. Yes! That's what we're doing here today, you guys. Doing this full time is putting a strain on my voice. I don't know about y'all, but damn. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome. To the early edition of Child of Mecha live stream here. Hey, this is just March. Yeah, Julio. Mr. Clippin' Nubs. Anyway, you guys, so if you want to rep the Army, we got this hat in 3 different colors. This nice dark gray. We got it in black, and we got it in camouflage for you real hardcore Mecha Army folks out there. Hit up www.childofmecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You'll be able to find this hat, many more shirts, prints, all sorts of other cool stuff. Just go grab it. I heard it makes wonderful Rise of the Living Dead gifts. Just what somebody told me. Anyway, so we're going to be working on the SD again today. Yeah. So we're going to jump into that here in just a few minutes. But if you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we will be working with here today, there's an Amazon link just below here on Twitch and YouTube. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, go get you some of that stuff. I get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it doesn't increase the cost for you. And it goes to help out the channel, support me in these trying times since I don't have a job anymore. Self-censored. Because it's a daytime. Kids could be watching. Just do the right thing, Tim. Anyway, so go get you some of that. Load up. All that good stuff. There's some good products in that little link there. All that good stuff. So go get you some. And if you are interested in tools or kits or paints or the amazing Mecha Decal Sheet 2, which should be shipping this week. Yes, should be shipping this week. So go get you some. And visit our good friend right down here, Adam and the fine folks at USA Gundam Store. They will definitely have what you need. Yeah. Let's see. William Williams is over there on Facebook. He says, I'm going to order a Mecha Army hat in camo. Can I get the lettering in black? Yeah, William, hit me up after the show. Just shoot me a DM or instant message, whatever, and we'll make it happen. That's really, really simple. In the back end once you order it. So, yeah, we can hook you up. Not to worry. Not to worry. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay, so you guys, if you are new to the stream, I know some of you are. I see Mr. George, well, there's 2 Georges in here now. There's George, Old School Gunpla, and then there's George, Mr. Tetsujin. So, George, Mr. Tetsujin, he doesn't watch all the time. And then 3-star, what's up, Steph? So obviously we got some new folks watching. That's awesome. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you that don't know, we're doing I'm a full-time modeler now, you guys, because I don't have a job anymore. So we're doing this full-time. We got a full-time schedule now. The new schedule is locked and loaded. 3 to 5 p.m. on weekdays. Every weekday, we're going to be rocking and rolling on this SD build. And then on Monday and Wednesday is going to be our normal time, 10 to 12 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to be working on the GBWC build. Every Friday at 10 p.m. to 12 a.m., we're going to be doing Mechanism. We're going to be getting all the other, the rest of the gang involved, and we're going to, just have some deep, meaningful conversation, some DMC for Chris Pabs. And, yeah, so we're just going to have fun and have some shenanigans and all that good stuff, right? Also, too, we're putting together a kind of a global live stream schedule, right? So you can find your favorite modeler, streamer, whatever, and know exactly where you can watch them at what time, right? So we've got, obviously, my schedule's on there. Brian, Mr. Bro Builder, Chris Pabby. Let's see, Miss Tex Merquise, John Lynn, Creeping Freely for You. We added George, Mr. Old School Gunpla, SoCal Brina, and Reyes Power Ranger. They do Beer Banter Build Nights on Sundays. So we're going to have all those folks and more on the schedule. So if you do regular streaming, like on a schedule, or you know somebody, DM me, IM me, whatever, you know, carrier pigeon, whatever. Get their schedule to me. We'll add it to the list and we'll get this published here. I want to try to get it published by the end of this week, but I can't guarantee anything at this point, right? So let's kind of all chip in on that and get that going, so people have some entertainment and stuff to watch during kind of these trying times. Yeah. YouTube is being a big asshole because what I figured out is that since we were talking about the V word that's going on right now, and I don't even want to say it right now, the C, V, I don't even want to say it because like their bots will like just snipe the stream right out from under us. So I don't even want to talk about that. Like, y'all can talk about it in the chat. That's all good. Mind you, I'm not going to probably not going to read your comments live, you know, if you do. But gotta self-censor to keep this thing going, right? Because this is my livelihood now, right? So we gotta do that. So just FYI for those of you watching, we just, you know, gotta play it safe at this point. So can't afford to lose that. So anyway, yeah, Fudube always says, yeah, YouTube is awful on that word. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And being a little insignificant channel, I don't have the luxury of having thousands of views and stuff like that, and getting you know, their tech team to manually review my videos and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so that's what's going on. So expect all that. So good stuff. All right. So what else? Anything else? I can't think of anything else. Let's get to work. Let's lose the hat because we're gonna be putting on the eyes here in a minute, right? I got an itch. There we go. That's better. Camera 2. Here we are. All right. So. Pardon. All right, so we're going to be working on this here today. We're going to be working on the rifle and everything, and then we are going to be scratch building a new handle for this thing because trying to marry up a 144 style weapon with a 1/100 scale hand is not exactly the easiest in the world. So I actually had to kind of tack glue it in here just for it to kind of hold. But then what you're left with is this kind of big gaping void where the handle obviously doesn't fit properly. So you can kind of see that there. So we're going to scratch build a brand new handle for this thing and make this fit and get it nice and solid. But first, obviously, we got to take this thing apart here, ever so gingerly. All right, so that's good there, and let's start prying this thing apart, shall we? Let's see. Sam L says, so what you're saying is we really need to get you to over 1,000 views. Yeah, well, that would be awesome. Yeah. But see, the thing is that to have your video manually reviewed, YouTube doesn't look at any videos without 1,000 views. Being a little channel, I don't normally get 1,000 views, especially on live streams, because just because of the nature of what they are, right? They're 2 hours a piece, if not more. There are only certain people that are going to slog through that on a regular basis, or, you know, what have you. So it is what it is, right? That's the nature of the beast, and I get it. So we just kind of have to play it safe with our wording and our conversational topics here on while this whole thing is going on, right, out in the world. So, you know, just it's just one of those things. I get it. I do. I get it. But still an asshole. Anyway. Blood Raven says, speaking of livelihood, if you're planning to do Patreon, perhaps set it up before the 1st of April, since start of the month is always payday. That's a great idea. You know, it's one of those things that I'm going to release when it's ready, right? Or when I'm ready, you know? So, all in good time. I appreciate the thought, though, Blood Raven. I do. Chris Papp says, Tim, once you complete this build, why don't you do a super cut of it from start to finish, about 15 minutes, get some views? I mean, yeah, that's all kind of in the works, right? Persistent Turtle says, Tim needs low cut shirts so we can stare at his man boobs for 2 hours. Instant 1K views. Whew. I'm not touching that one. Nope. Nope. Not gonna do it. I'm smarter than that. Not gonna do it. No, sir. Not gonna catch me with that one. I appreciate the humor, though. Anyway, let's get to this now. This rifle has this foldy clip thingy that basically snaps into like the backpack or something like that, or one of the skirts or whatever. We don't need this because it's never going to come out of the hands, right? So we can basically just rip this off and glue a piece of styrene in there, seal the whole thing up, so when we go to panel line this thing, it doesn't seep in and cause issues, right? So that's what we're going to do first, but we need, obviously, we need a length of styrene here to do that. So what we're going to do is kind of mock this sucker up here, right? And another thing that we're going to do is take the handle off here so that doesn't catch any residual glue. Now, let's see what we need here. So right about there to about, where's my pencil? Here it is. To about there. That's kind of what we need, right? That's the length of strip that we need. So we're going to clip this right there. Set that off to the side. Now, let's get this little guy out of here. We also have to clip the rod that it was hinging on, right? And then trim that back, make that nice and flush too. Just like that. Perfect. All right, so now we can fit this strip of plastic in here. Basically create our filler piece here. Now, one thing that we're going to do first is to trim this border back to right about there. Gives us just a little bit more working room, right? So now, yeah. So you can kind of see how that's going to fill in all of that. Now, obviously, we have to shape this and everything like that, and that's going to come here in a few seconds. But that's kind of the look we're going for, right? Now, another thing that we're going to do is trim off this corner piece right here inside the rifle, so we make some room for the sheet itself, right? And there we go. That fits really nicely in there now. That fits real nice. And even just with just kind of a frictional connection right now, it's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pop this in place. We're going to use our super glue, and then after that, then we can kind of shape it to the final shape that we want, right? So just a bit of super glue right in there. And now attach our strip. We're going to use a little scrap piece of plastic just to try and get all the excess super glue spread out there, right? But that looks pretty good. Now, let's sandwich these two pieces back together and make sure that we've got a proper fit here. Okay, so we need to do the trim work on the inside of the rifle on the other side, right? So this thing will fit properly. And it looks like we're going to probably have to add another maybe 1/2 millimeter strip, laminate a 1/2 millimeter strip back onto the 1 millimeter, simply because of the width of the original hinge piece, right? Okay, so there's that. And then we'll do the same thing right there. All right, let's sandwich this thing back together and see if it fits. Yeah, that fits quite nicely. Quite nicely. Now we need to see what filler piece we need to put in there. So that's 1/2 mil. Or that's 1/4, actually, I should say. Yeah, 1/2 mil would be too wide. So we're going to go 1/4 millimeter. So let's get this thing separated one more time here. Just like that. And then we can do our lamination process on here. A little super glue. Just a little drop, nothing crazy. And then we'll take a scrap piece of plastic, right? And we'll just spread that out nice and thin across this piece. And then what we'll do is we'll take a length of 1/4 millimeter. And lay that ever so carefully on top of here. Now, obviously what you want to do is you want to lay the 1/4 millimeter, you want to have some overhang on the 1/4 millimeter strip there, because we're laminating it and we are getting it to more of a final shape for the underlying piece, right? The first piece that we put on. So by having some overhang, we can trim it back and make everything perfectly match, right? All right. So that looks pretty darn good. Let's start trimming this thing down. good. And then the last part right here. All right, so let's see what our handiwork did. Yeah, that is a perfect fit. Cool. All right, let's get you super zoomed in so you can kind of see a little bit more detail in this, yeah? Musham. Six sense of humor. They want me to return from quarantine on April Fool's Day. I verified it to make sure it wasn't a prank. Wow. That's some timing, isn't it? Whew. Alright, anyway. Let's get zoomed up in this thing. Boop. There we are. Alright, let's bring the windows back. Alright, so now right through there you can kind of see, and let's get you really zoomed in here. You can kind of see how that filler piece is perfectly fit in there now. That's 1¼ millimeter wide, and that just fits really, really good in there. Now, obviously, we still have to shape this piece down to what we, to a better looking shape than this, because that looks like crap right there. But that fits really nice. Fits really, really nice. And once we get this thing seamed and everything like that, we'll be in good shape. We'll be in real good shape. All right, so let's get zoomed down here, just like that. And we'll put the eyes on, and then we'll really kind of get to work here and shape this thing up. All right, so first things first, we're going to trim 1/4 millimeter down to the same level. Let's get this separated again here. Just like that. Alright, so one thing I'm seeing here is a bit of spacing between the laminated strip and our original. So not a big deal, because what we can do is, again, just take a little scrap piece of plastic here, and just a little itty bitty drop of super glue right there, right? And what we'll do is just kind of spread that on. That'll be a nice little filler. Right like that. Okay, good stuff. And we'll hit it with a little bit of Instaset here. Perfect. All right, so now while that's curing, we're gonna give it a few seconds here. Let's talk about the actual hand, right? Obviously that these Bandai Builder hands are super huge anyways. Let's just get it right out of the gate. These things are way off scale for 1/100 scale models, right? The Jesta, which is arguably either the biggest or one of the biggest GMs that was ever produced, has hands this size. You can see the sizing difference there between these two. This hand, the Bandai Builder Parts hands, are much, much bigger than the Jesta hands by like a good amount, right? If you just look at the width of the hand armor itself, I mean, you can kind of see the difference. I mean, you've got probably what, a good 1.5 millimeters width difference I know it doesn't sound like much, but in terms of scale, you scale that up to 100, that's a big difference. A big difference. And then look at the size differences just even in just the fingers. It feels like the fingers on the Jesta hands are dainty in comparison, right? So the Bandai Builder hands are, for lack of a better term, humongous. So we need to kind of take account for that, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to pop the finger cover and everything off of there. And this is pretty much what we've got to work with here, this inside hand. So normally 3.2 would be kind of a perfect size for, you know, 1/100 scale hand. And that is actually the same size, or roughly the same size as this, the width of the existing handle on the 144, right? But obviously we're not dealing with a normal sized grip here, you know? So what we might have to do, this is 4.8. And even that, look at that. Even that, you've got a ton of room still left. Here's 6.3. And that, that actually fit. Holy shit. Oh my god. This is 6.3. And look at that. That just looks ridiculous, that size, right? That looks just terrible. I don't know how Bandai designed these, because they're aesthetically really, really nice. I'm not gonna lie, they're really nicely detailed and everything, but their proportions are just stupid. I don't get it, man. I don't know how this could have come out of QC like this. I just don't get it. I do not get it. Whoa, Bish! Mr. Woody. He says, I can't find aftermarket hands anywhere. Dude, so Kotobukiya makes some wonderful aftermarket fixed post hands. And if you are looking for the fully posable ones, what is it? Yellow Submarine? I think it's Yellow Sub. No. What is it? I could be wrong. I think I am wrong. Let me see. Hang on. Wait right there. Come on, damn it. Here we go. Ah, yeah. You know what? I was wrong. So, these are fully posable hands, fully articulated fingers, the whole 9 yards. Similar to the Jesta, and the kind of the newer posable hands. And this is by Hobby Base, right? Hobby Base. And what's cool is they've got a few different thumb placements. And then they've also got a few different wrist lengths, right? So you've got a 5.5 millimeter wrist length, and then you've also got a 7.5 millimeter wrist length. You know, in case the socket that you're, you know, inserting this into is recessed back. Maybe there's a wrist armor or something like that. But these are okay. They're a bit fragile, I will tell you that. They're not as kind of robust and durable as Bandai's, but they're still halfway decent, right? I Woody wants to know where we got them from. Got this from Hobby Search. Yeah, Hobby Search. Now, again, I don't know if they're in stock or what, but here's basically what you get, right? Again, fully posable. They are, plastic on plastic, and the sockets that the fingers insert into aren't the greatest, and if you see there, all of the fingers are the same length. If you look at your hand, all of your fingers are not the same length. And if you look at Bandai's hands, they are, I believe, somewhat staggered. They are somewhat staggered. They're not straight across like the hobby base ones, right? So I don't know if that makes a big difference. But this is kind of what you get. It's very, these are kind of utilitarian. The joints themselves on the fingers are pretty secure, but the ball joints that they connect into leave a little bit to be desired. And the cool thing is that they come with the fully posable fingers, but then they also come with fixed posed options as well, right? So you've kind of got some fixed posed hands, like in a fist and stuff like that. So yeah, so these aren't bad. They're just not great. So like there's the fist, right? It's decent. I mean, it's got good detail and everything like that. And you can customize these things, to whatever level you kind of want, right? So yeah, these aren't terrible. These aren't terrible options. But honestly, if you want just straight fixed posed hands, I would go with something like Kotobukiya. I've used Kotobukiya on a bunch of different models. I've used it on the Hummingbird, Ozzy, the Blue Destiny. Yeah, all three of those are Kotobukiya fixed posed hands. So they just work, and they're really, really nice. You can find those on Hobby Search too. Just saying. Anyway. Yeah, Rusam says they are out there, but they sell out rather quickly. Yeah, and that's true. But I think, honestly, for very specific kind of niche products like that, Hobby Search is probably going to be the way to go, because they carry, at least in my estimation, the widest variety of very, very specific and niche products, right? That's where I got the Wave T-Square, the first little one. That's where I got that from. It's where I got probably most of my BMC chisels from. It's where I got a lot of kind of very specialized tools from. So, yeah. Tetsugen, Mr. George, George 2, he says, I have a cheap replica of the Blade Runner blaster. Grip is like 50mm deep, scaled up to robot size, then down to 1/100. That would be 5mm, not quite 6.3, I guess. Yeah. Julie Stemsky says, I made it. I just got back from Costco and scored some TP. Hey, good job. Woody says you should do a video on how to use that site. LOL. Oh man, no. Hobby Search is great. And Chris Pabs just he says they have an English site and it's easy to use. Well, easy-ish. Let's put it that way. George Tessagen says I like the Kodo hands, but I feel like they're all a little awkward. Well, yeah, because I mean they're generalized hands. You know, they're trying to basically design for lowest common denominator, right? So it is what it is. But I do kind of like I said, I do kind of like the Kotobukiya hands the best. They do have two sizes. They have 1/100 and then they have 144. The 144 scale sized hands actually have a much better variety of shapes and poses and stuff, mainly because they're designed more for their frame arms kits and stuff. So like they have like these monster. They call them, I think, monster or beast hands, and that the grip is like this, you know, which they look great on, say, like a Barbatos or something, or a Barbatos Lupus, you know, kind of doing that thing. Nothing common about their wild hands. That's what they're called. I thought they were beast or monster hands or something like that. Anyway, they're wild hands. Yeah. So those look really, really cool. They've got a bunch of other hands and stuff like that in the 144 range for their frame arms girls, stuff like that. But like I said, they do have several varieties in 1/100 scale. They have square finger hands and more angular hands for obviously your Federation style suits, and then they have rounded fingers for your Xeon suits. So they do have a decent variety, and I still love them because they're great and they fit and they just look really, really nice. So, let's see. Hi, Craig. Colin's over there. He says, hey, everyone. If you don't have a Wave T-Square, you need one. It's true. You do. You need one. Testerton says, ouch, I'm George 2 now. Hey, man, you came in, you know. George, Mr. Old School Gunplay, he was here first. He got George 1. So, sorry, man. And George Old School Gunplay, he's older anyway, so he's George 1. Let's see. George, Mr. Old School Gunplay says, LOL, I can be George 2 if you'd like. Yeah, right. Musham says, y'all see the TP being guarded by police at the grocery stores? Yeah, it's crazy. Chris Pab says, Pabby, I used those on the Barbatos Lupus EXS. Oh, yeah, with the wild hands, those, yeah. Nice. Ranger Chris says, that's one thing that Kodo has over Bandai is a variety of option parts. Oh, hands down. Hands down. If you guys are not familiar with their Kotobukiya's modeling support goods, MSG, haha, make their joke, whatever. They're amazing. Like, obviously you guys can't see it, but behind the camera and on the wall here, I have a pegboard full of option parts runners, and basically this is what they are, right? These little different parts, right? You know, you can get, you know, these weird vents and thrusters, you know, you can get different little plates and stuff like that, little round pieces, all sorts of cool little decorative things that you can add to your model to make it unique and interesting. Then they have the weapon sets. The weapon sets are, for lack of a better term, amazing, right? And you can fully customize these things out. They're just styrene. They're really, really, really good options. Scaled really nicely for either kind of a 1/100 or a 144. Some are scaled large, some are scaled small, so you kind of have to be a little careful. as an overall, their weapon sets are just out of this world great. Really, really good. Yeah, really good. Let's see. George Lilios, Mr. Old School Gunpla says MSG stuff is terrific when in stock. Well, yeah, that is a good point. They sell out super quick, especially on like Hobby Search and stuff, because they've got the entire line, right? Julius Dembski wants to know, Chris Pabs, what scale are the Wild Hands? They're 144. Yeah, they're 144. Chris Pabs says they're technically 1/100, but Kodo don't really follow Bandai scale conventions. I think they're marked as 144, Chris, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think it says on the packaging 144. I don't know. Anyway. Chris says, I use MSG tanks on the SD Sinanju. There you go. Right? Ruslam, Mr. Bill says, all right, everyone, make sure you go out and order some extra MSG when you buy the Cat Haro. Jeez, I knew somebody was going to make a joke. Tetsugen, Mr. George 2. Kodo made a kit of the helicopter from Pat Loeber 2. Then they made a kind of knockoff version in the MSG line. Yeah, that's true. I remember that. William Wilms over there on Facebook, he says, Kodo is coming out with more robotic head parts and now a set of lion/wolf heads for Zoids, but could be used for chest or shoulder pauldrons. That would be pretty sick. Not gonna lie. That would be pretty awesome. Anyway, let's check in with the Mecha Army Facebook group. Let's make sure and see who's over there. Yeah, some people are watching. Cool deal. They're staying silent, though. The Army's always silent. I don't get it. Let's see. Ranger Chris, you might take a look at Tomi's weapon sets as well. Really good if you're looking for something that is true to real-world subjects. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Chris Pabs, for example, I used their 1/100 scale lance on a high-grade 144 Impulse Lancier, and it's not bad. There you go. Tetchison says available in both scales, I think. Well, I should say last time I checked, they weren't available in both scales. It was just a one scale. And Chris just sent me, Pabby just sent me a message here on the Facebooks about the packaging and everything. As soon as this comes up. Come on, interwebs. On the old computer here, and it's super slow. Okay, so the Wild Hands actually are not marked with a scale. Okay. So then that, in my experience, usually means they're scaled for their frame arms. So that means 144 for us. Because their frame arms, I don't know if their frame arms have scale or not. I only have one frame arms, and it's like somewhere in here. I don't know exactly where. But that's, that's basically what they are. Let's see. Sam L, he's over there on YouTube. He says, I have the MSG Gatling gun. I mounted on the back of the 1/100 Barbatos. Looks insane. See? Yeah, they're just really good products. And the molding for Kodo parts and weapon sets is just insane. I mean, it's super, super highly accurate. Really good stuff. Tetchison says, might have been mistaken when it comes to Wild Hands. Yeah, actually, Chris Pabs just sent me an image, and actually they don't even have a scale, so that's why I said they're usually, if they don't have a scale on them, it's usually made for their frame arms, and that's usually on a smaller side. There's usually frame arms are usually smaller mechs. Ranger Chris gonna get off here, have to go brave the crowds at the grocery store. Chris, good luck, buddy. Best of luck. All right, so let's jump back into it. Let's see what we got here. Our rifle should be completely cured by now, and it is looking good here. All right, so let's get this thing shaped. Yeah? Let's see. 3:56 already. Jeez, man. Time flies. Alright, so got that seamed and filled. No more gap. Perfect. Alright, so now we need to figure out what kind of final shape we want this plate to look like. Now, obviously, what I think we're going to do is cut the top off here and kind of make that flush, kind of like that, right? Now, that's not perfectly straight, so we need to work that a little bit more. That's better. We can get it even more even here at this point. It's looking better. Okay, looks good there. Let's marry these two halves up, and we'll form it perfectly here in just a second here. Let's see. Get these two smashed together there. It's looking pretty good. Not bad so far, right? Not bad so far. Camera. Yep, cool. Okay. So that looks pretty nice. Let's take our file and file this guy down here. Get a nice flat surface that we can work with. And that looks pretty damn good. Yeah. Not too bad. Alright. That's what we're going with. Final product. Done. Easy peasy. So now, once we go to seam this, that glue will seam up here, fill that in, and this will be one solid piece again. Man, but going around this thing and filling and fixing all these seams. That's why I hate high grades, man. It's another reason I hate high grades. Jeez. Anyway, for you guys that work specifically on high grades, I think I have a newfound respect for you. I'll be honest. Not a lot, but still. Alright. Alright, so let's get this thing seamed up here, right? Alright, so what we did here before is we get these pieces super close together. Just leave just a teeny tiny gap between them so the capillary action can work. And we'll start filling this thing in here. Let's see. Plastic magic. Good stuff. Yeah? Alright. Let's see here. Rusam says, I would imagine you could get some decent fixed hands off the 1/100 grade, 1/100 scale no grade kits as well as cool shaped plastic for kit bashing. Actually, yes. You can definitely get some cool parts and stuff like that out of those 1/100 no grades, 144s even. But I don't know about the hands. The hands are a bit suspect. At least some of them are, right? Some of them are decent. Some of them are suspect. So you just got to be careful, right? If you can get them like secondhand, that'd probably be better. But yeah. Woody says, what are the best MSG part kits to start with? I mean, dude, just honestly, just go on Hobby Search and do a search for well, actually get into the Kotobukiya line, find one of the MSG option parts, and then it has on the listing, there's a hyperlink for series, and you can click on that, and then it'll show you the rest of the kits or options in that particular series, right? Now, they're broken up by weapon sets, and then they're broken up by the MSG, like the option parts, right? So keep that in mind. But that's the best way to go through and look, because there's so much variety that it's hard to tell you which is best and which isn't. Personally, there are ammo drums that I just think are amazing. There are these crazy like laser bazooka option parts that are really, really cool too. I've always kind of wanted to do a weird kind of gun cannon with those on them. So yeah, those are all options kind of available. And so yeah. Ooh. You know what I could do? Since we're remixing the Jesta and the RX, I wonder if we mix a Jesta and a gun cannon. Interesting. That could be a thing. Could be another idea we just add to the pile and just let it marinate. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get that as a maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just thinking, right? Let's see. Tetcherson says, depends on what you need, I guess. That depends on your style, scale, experience. True. Brandon says, $25 on Amazon to buy a kit for parts use only. What do you buy? My top two choices, the Julia Regenlays. Great kit for parts. Even better, Gaplant, the original OG Gaplant, great for parts. What else? Ah, yeah. If you're trying to do some like medieval like knight Gundam or something like that, Grimgird, 1/100 scale or 144, both are great kits for parts. Those are probably my top three. You know, on a $25 scale. Yeah, that's what I would do if it was me. So, hell yeah. Let's see. Tetcherson says, I was very big into the Kotobukiya mobile pipe set for a while. Good for Saku style cables. Yeah, true. Until other companies came along and just kind of did it better, right? Chris Pab says, I would personally get on a in-need basis. There's so many options. It's hard to get a broad bunch for common use. Though hands are always a safe bet. That's yeah. Yeah, and everybody's telling Woody, depends on your need and everything, kind of like what I said before. Excuse me. Julie Stemsky says, if anyone orders from Micromark, they're having a 20% off on all orders. Promo code 20WSO24. Hey, Micromark's decent. I think they're overpriced, though. I do. I think they're overpriced. Mind you, they have some tools on there that you can kind of only find on there, but for the most part, I think Micromark's a little overpriced. That's just my opinion, though. Anyway, George, Mr. Old School Gunplay says 144. Think of it as a new challenge in your journey through Gunpla, Tim. Nice. Thank you, George. Appreciate that. Fudabe always says Tim is going to get defeated by it. So send Tim more 144 kits. Christ. George, Mr. Old School Gunplay says, may have to send him something from the 80s, blow his mind. See, I don't know. I'm spoiled by master grades. What can I say? And it's not like all master grades are up to modern standards either. I know how to seam, you guys. It's just annoying, I want this kit to go by quickly, right? Because I do honestly want to move on to something else. But I'm giving this kit its due diligence. Trust me. Let's see. Julius says that package should arrive on Thursday, Tim. Julius, man, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. That's awesome. Brandon says, don't mind going up to $40 max for the kit. He says, thanks, Tim. Couldn't think of the Julia kit before. So, yeah. So, those are the ones, those three are really, really good for parts, right? And almost any kind of 144 no grade kit, most of those are really good for parts. Like the, what is it? The Arios or Curios or whatever it is from 00. Those are really cool for parts as well, especially if you're doing kind of like a flight type, like a Zeta or Delta or something like that, Zeta Plus, what have you, or what is it? Frickin' hell, what is it called? The Regazi? I don't know. The ones from Unicorn. I forget the name. Anyway, those are parts that would look really cool on any of those flight type, Gundams. The Baowu on the Xeon side of things. So, yeah, that would be cool too. Just Brandon, I would go through like the 144 line. And just look at the kits in terms of geometry and parts, and then just kind of get an idea of what parts you want or are looking for, because that's what I do. I some days I'll spend hours just looking at different kits and the geometry of them, just to see, ooh, hey, I could use that, or hey, I could use this, and blah blah blah, so yeah. Let's see. Tetsugen, Mr. George 2. He says, Tim working on an 80s kit. I think he might explode. Though if he felt like it, I'm sure he could build one up into something more his style. Yeah, that's true. Sam L seems are crazy on the master grade I am building now, so it feels like a high grade with more details at time. It depends on the kit, though. It might be an old kit. So, Tetsugen George 2 says, not real crazy about the seam situation on the master grade Gelgoog V2. For instance, personally, leg seams camouflaged as panel lines just look really cavernous and out of place. I can agree with that. Ruslam says, I have been using a ton of the Kshatriya for parts for a 1-100 build. Oh, yeah. That's a little bit more of an expensive kit, but the Kshatriya could, I mean, you can just part that out like crazy for kits. So, but I guess the cost to parts that you get out of it ratio is probably higher. So that cost may work out better. So William Wilms is over there on Facebook. He says, "What about mixing the gun cannon and the GM Sniper 2?" That's an interesting thought. A little bit shorter. I kind of dig it. Doable. Yeah. Doable. He also says, also a great thing is if you find a kit you are interested in, then watch some review videos on it on YouTube. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then you can really kind of see the geometry of it kind of almost in a three-dimensional scale, right? So that's a great idea too. So yeah, all good ideas, right? Yeah. Tetchison says, always thought it might be fun to backdate a modern kit into vintage style like Gundam Unicorn in 1981 style. What? That would be interesting, right? Maybe take an 80s like an RX, and then just Unicorn. Go to Unicorn, land on it. Just yeah, that could be interesting. I'm not gonna lie, that could be interesting. Roosh Thump says I picked one up on sale for $25 at Hobbytown. Oh, the Kshatriya, nice. Yeah, so that could all be really fun. Anyway, all right, let's get to seaming this thing, shall we? All right, so we got our plastic magic. We got our gun here. We've got this Draconigenus. I don't know how to say that. Thank you though. Welcome. You get one of these. Welcome to the army. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Hell yeah. Alright, so let's seam this sumbitch here. Let's get this thing done so we can move on to actually getting the freaking the damn thing actually seams cleaned and all that, like I'm not looking forward to. So as you can see, this since the two halves are so close together, it's the glue is flowing in to the gap here just through capillary action, right? Let's get rid of this thing because that's not really helping at this point. And that's essentially what we're looking for. And honestly, watching the glue flow between these two pieces is almost as, I'll be honest with you, it's almost as satisfying as watching panel lining fluid flow into the different panel lines and stuff like that. It's an interesting phenomena. Okay, we'll get this thing closed up and buttoned up here. Just a second. Okay. Oop. Be good. It would be good if we were on camera, right? Yeah, Tetchison says, work in frame, Tim. Thank you, George. Appreciate that. Whoops. Yeah, I do that all the time. People are used to it. All right. So there you go. You can see how we got, some good, we got some good squeeze out of kind of the plastic and everything there. And that's exactly what we want. We want that squeeze out to occur because that will make seaming this thing much, much easier. We can just go back, trim that off, just kind of finish off the surface a little bit, and then we're pretty much good to go on this thing. So really, really easy time of it when you kind of get that that squeeze out going on, right? All right. So let's get back onto the hand and the handle here, shall we? Now, I refuse to go full on 6.3 millimeter. This is just not, it ain't just not happening, right? It's not happening. Now width wise, we'll go 4.8. That I'm comfortable with, right? But width wise, we need to go, Jesus. This looks like 4 millimeter wide. 3.2. Okay, cool. Excellent then. That will actually be good. All right, cool. So we need 3 layers of this 4.8. Ooh, that's only 0.75. We need 1 millimeter by 4.8. I don't know if I have that on here or not. Maybe. What's this? Whoop. Yeah, see, that's 0.75. Let's see. Anything else? Do we have 4.8 by 1 millimeter on the desk? I don't think that we do. So we're gonna have to go digging in the stash here. Let's see. 4.0, 3.2, 4.0. Uh-oh, do I not have any? 3.2. Uh-oh. Whoop. Yeah, I don't have any 4.8 by 1 millimeter. Shit. Yeah, I don't. Great. Just great. Let's see. Nope, I do not. I do not. All right, so it looks like we're using 3/4 millimeter at that point. So let's get a decent length cut here, and then we'll just start stacking strips, shall we? Maybe we'll use 4 layers, right? Who knows? Actually, that math would work out. Yeah. Okay. Clip that. Clip that. 4 layers. There we go. We have our 4 layers of 0.75 millimeter thickness by 4.8. So we need to stack these here real quick. Now, got a bunch of smartasses in the YouTube chat, but that's okay. I still love you. Sam L says, Tim loves to make us wonder. Add suspense. Thank you. Draconigenus. Draconigenus? Hope I'm saying that right. He's over there on YouTube, or on Twitch. He says, you used extra thin cement or normal plastic cement for seaming. What I used was this right here. This is called Plastic Magic. This is, it is a thin cement, but it's low odor, super thin cement for invisible joints. But the difference between this and say your normal Tamiya extra thin is this bonds ABS, styrene, and other plastic that other glues cannot, meaning Tamiya. This definitely will bond ABS. This will bond styrene to acrylic. All of this stuff, it'll bond together. So ABS to ABS, acrylic to acrylic, styrene to styrene, and then sort them all out, mix and match all of those. So this is the best stuff that I find for, bonding two pieces of plastic together. This is by Deluxe Materials. So if your local hobby shop is still up and running and they carry Deluxe Materials, chances are they can get this in stock if they don't have it already. So really, really good stuff. And if for some reason that you don't have a local hobby store, or if it's shut down, Amazon link just below carries it. It should be on there as well. So Plastic Magic, that's the best stuff that I've found. So there you go. Julio, Mr. Clippin' Nub says, this shit is thrilling. Shut up, Julio. You got laid off too. I'm trying to do my thing here. Just shut up. Asshole. Anyway, let's stack these strips here. Got the first two done. Wipe off the glue, all that good shit. And then we'll get the second half done here. Just like that. Get that there. All right, so let's see. Ruslan, Mr. Bill says, Julio, quit watching in the bathroom. Right? Let's see. George, Mr. Old School Gunpla says, a question.
We have a question.
Does Plastic Magic melt plastic like Tamiya or bond like super glue? It melts. It's a thin cement, so it melts it like the Tamiya. So yeah, it bonds literally everything. It's amazing stuff. Yeah, Ruslam says it melts like thin cement. Julio says, I think it melts. Yeah, it does. Persistent Turtle, Mr. Lucas, he says, I'm still waiting to see the schedule for Julio's dance stream. I know, right? Me too, man. Julio, go get your pole. I got $1. George Lelios, Mr. Old School Gunpla says, interesting that it melts more than styrene. Radical. No, dude, it really, really is. The first time I used that was on the Hummingbird, because the Hummingbird, or the Zeta Plus, for that matter, has a ABS inner frame. And I wanted to, fix all that stuff together. I didn't want any of the parts to go flopping around and all that stuff. So, to do that, I had to find a glue that would bond ABS. I tried super glue. It worked okay, but then it became brittle and the parts just came apart. But then I saw a couple people online, like Becky Law, Becky Customizer, Kenny Lim, Toy Maker. I saw a few of those folks kind of use Plastic Magic to great success, and I'm like, I gotta try that. So got my local hobby store who carried Deluxe Materials products to order it for me, tried it out. It's perfect. It is the best stuff. Mind you, I still use the Tamiya Extra Thin when I need a much higher level of styrene bonding, right? So if I need that styrene to be one solid chunk of plastic, then I may still reach for the Tamiya extra thin, but honestly, for the most part, I just use Plastic Magic when I need to seam something like that. So yeah. Rusam says it is just more caustic cement than Tamiya. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, because it definitely does not have like a crazy foul odor. You know, you can be working with this stuff for hours and it won't, doesn't like cause any weirdness, burning in your eyes or any sensations like that. So I don't necessarily know if it's more quote unquote caustic. But man, it's got something in it that'll just, yeah, it'll get through some plastic. That's for sure. It will get through and bond some plastic. All right. So we've got our two halves of this handle glued up. Now we just have to glue these pieces together. And then it's off to the races. Then we can start forming. So, a little bead of super glue right there. And then two halves become a whole. And there is the beginning of our new scratch-built handle. Handle. Anyway. Chris Pab says, I use Mr. Cement SP. Well, aren't you just fancy, Chris? Little Mr. Pabby over there. All right. So, with that being said, let's check the sizing here. It should fit in here pretty damn good. Yeah. That's much better looking than the other handle, right? That fills in that void much better. So that's good. We're on a start. We got a start to this. Now, what we're going to be doing here later on, since this hand is going to be fixed posed and everything like that, we'll actually be pinning the gun into the hand, so it's going to basically become one piece, and then we'll put the finger cover over top of this, and then that piece will never come apart. So that's what the plan is. Now, that won't happen. This won't get installed until after painting. This will stay separate and all that good stuff. And honestly, I'm not too worried with the joints and the seams and everything, because especially right there on the fingers, that virtually disappears with where they have the joint and everything. The only other thing that I would worry about is this seam right here, but that will be obscured by the rifle, so it's not top on my concern list. So anyway, excuse me, George.
We have a question.
Mr. Old School Gump has got another question. He's got, what are the tweezers? Oh, these guys? These are, or these guys. These wooden handled ones. These are kind of crap knockoff Tamiya tweezers. I don't use these a ton, but they are good if I need to, hold something, and I need to work with both my hands. These are good for that. These, on the other hand, these are my go-to, obviously, because, wear and tear and everything. These are honestly the best tweezers that I've found anywhere. These are reverse grip. These are wonderful. These are actually by Ek Tools. And Ruslam says he has the tweezers on his Amazon page. I do. They're inexpensive. I think these are like $7, something like that. And it's funny because before I found them on Amazon, I actually went to the store and bought a second pair just to be on the safe side, just in case they ever stopped for some reason making these. So I actually have a spare a spare set of them right here, and this is you can kind of see the before and after on this thing, but we got to get the cover off first. There we go. So before and after. That's what they look like. They used to have these nice little rubber grips here. The current ones do not have that. And you can see right there how I've kind of shaved and filed down the jaws and everything to a much sharper point. Just kind of over the years, but there you can kind of see the profile and everything. But yeah, these tweezers are honestly just the best that I've ever used. They're absolutely outstanding, and they're easy to clean because they are steel. So if you get super glue on here, you can just kind of take an old X-Acto blade and just kind of scrape it off or whatever. But yeah, man, these are wonderful tweezers. And they're just, stupid, cheap little craft tweezers. They're not even, like, made for modeling or anything like that. They're just good, right? They're just good. So, anyway. Chris Pab says, but it's so good, little Timmy. Chris, that's never going to stick, Pabby. That's never going to stick. Sorry. Let's see. Rusam says, yeah, the tweezers are on there. Thanks, Bill. No problem. I couldn't remember the name. I think it starts with an E. Yeah, Ek Tools. EKTOOLS. Ek Tools. Really good stuff. Bill says, I found some at Hobby Lobby, so you can get them there if you can't wait for Amazon. Yeah, if things are still open. I got mine at Michael's. Just a local craft store. I'm sure they carry them in a lot of different places. It's usually, or at least I found mine in kind of like the sewing department. So yeah, just some ideas. If you're not locked down and non-essential businesses are still open in your area, then I would say, yeah, if you want to venture out, go explore your local craft store. Just walk up and down the aisles. It doesn't matter which department that you're in. It could be sewing, it could be fabric, it could be art or jewelry making or whatever, right? You never know what you're going to find in those departments that you can use for scale modeling. These right here, perfect example, right? Yeah. George Mr. Old School Complex says, good tools, cheap, love it. Dude, they're great. You will love them. Ryan Taggart, he's over there on YouTube. He says, that's some good weathering inspiration right there, right? Let me look at it. The wear and tear on this thing? Yeah. It actually kind of is, now that you mention it. Because, look at this. You got the paint wear down to the metal on the jaws here. You got paint wear right along the edges and at the different points and stuff. You've got little speckling here and there of kind of grime and all that. So yeah, now that you mention it, that is pretty damn good reference for weathering, Ryan. That's I never even thought of that, but that's, yeah, good call, man. Very good call. Julio says, yo, boycott Hobby Lobby. Yeah. Not paying their employees sick pay. Yeah, true. George says, agreed, Julio, but too damn convenient. Julio says, nah, it's real despicable. Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, they could have gotten laid off. But I digress. Chris Pab says, they're staying open because CEO's wife had a vision. Anyway. Yeah. So we won't. Let's not. I don't even want to spend time on jackasses like that. Anyway. Yeah, George says, thanks, guys. I hate spending money, no matter the amount, on turd companies. Yeah. Anyway. Bill says, yep, walk up and down aisles at craft and budget stores. No telling what you will find at a Dollar General even. Yeah, hell yeah. And a lot of places like that. Electronics stores, if you have those in your area. Craft stores. Like woodworking, like specialty shops, right? If you have like a woodcraft store in your area. I know there's not a lot of them left, but if you do, who knows what you can find in there, right? You can find cool little scrap pieces of wood to make bases and stuff out of. Walk in there and you find a nice piece of black walnut or mahogany or something like that. Just something stupid in the scrap pile or something that nobody wants, right? That would be absolutely an amazing find. You never know until you look, guys. Just saying. Ryan Taggart, he says, haha, yeah, man, that's the first thing I thought as soon as I saw those. Dude, and I think I've been looking at them for so long that I've become blind to it, but yeah, I totally agree with you. So, yeah. Julio says if they got laid off, at least they would get unemployment. Yeah, you do have a point there. Yeah. I didn't think about that, Julio. I've never been laid off before, so this is all new to me. Rusam said, wood shops have awesome tools. Yeah. Woody, Mr. Wobish over there on YouTube says model train stores. Dude, yeah, if you have them around, yeah. Again, those are unfortunately few and far between nowadays, but yeah. George, Mr. Old School Gunpla says, I love my local dollar stores. Yeah, those two. Sam L says, my woodcraft usually has a huge bin of scrap boards for $5 each. Bro, go load up. Seriously. Which reminds me, actually, here, hang on just a second, guys. I want to show you something here real quick. I was out in the garage yesterday and cleaning and stuff like that, like you do. But as kind of it goes, I actually cut slabs for the base for this thing, right? So let's see. These boards are 7.5 inches wide, and it's basically going to be 1 foot tall by 1 foot long, and it's kind of going to be in an L shape like this, and the unicorn is going to be suspended up. I'm going to have it on like a clear acrylic rod or something like that, and he's going to be flying out this way and all that. So I think that'll be a really, really cool looking piece. But just a simple L-shaped base, right? This is going to be held together. I'll be able to take these two apart. It's going to be held together by screws and threaded inserts. So yeah, I just happened to do that while I was out cleaning up. So hell yeah. But man, yeah, if you've got a woodcraft or some sort of high-end wood supplier in your area, go in there, take a look at their scrap bin. You never know what you could find. I would kill to have something like that around me. Like, I would raid that place like crazy and just make stupid shit out of the scrap boards. For real, for real. Persistent Turtle, Mr. Lucas is over there on YouTube. He says Micromark is a good website for neat tools. Yeah, we talked about that actually just a little bit before. They're overpriced though for a lot of their stuff. Like a lot of their tools are rebranded from other companies, and you can usually find them cheaper at other places, right? So if you see something on Micromark, search up the model number especially, and just through Google and everything, and I'm sure almost always you can find it at a cheaper price somewhere else. So just food for thought. Fernando Valadares, he's over there on YouTube. He says flea market, dollar store has everything. Dude, yeah, I agree. Sam L says my other hobby is furniture / pen making, so I do when my wife actually lets me go in there. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I dabble in like woodworking and stuff like that, but like nothing serious. Like these shelves here, it's just MDF, and I made those. All my workbenches, some shelves back here, pegboard, all that stuff. That's all. I did that, and yeah, it just works, right? Let's see. Mr. Bill says, I will pick up a grab bag box at a wood store. It has random woods and random sizes for cheap. Hell yeah. Even small pieces, like you can use for like accents and stuff like that on a base or something, right? Think of it like a dichotomy of materials, right? When we build our scale models, we replicate them to look like metal, right? Heavy metal. I think it would look amazing, and I think it does look amazing when people mix that look, that aesthetic, with a nice rich kind of dark wood like a black walnut or like a stained cherry wood or something like that. I just think that looks amazing, and it brings a certain level of class to the project as well. So just a thought, you guys. George, Mr. Old School Gunpla says, Day for questions. Oh,
We have a question.
Where do you get clear acrylic rod? I've been using metal. Where I get everything, brother. Amazon. Amazon has clear acrylic rods in a ton of different sizes and lengths and all that good stuff. Just go on there, search for what you need. You will definitely be able to find it. I don't know if I have any sitting around here right now. Let me see over here. I may not have one sitting around. No, it doesn't look like I do. What happened to that one? Is it up here? I think it might be up here. Yes, they're up here. Haha. I knew I had them somewhere. Yeah, so these are 3/8 inch by 10 inch, right? Package of 5. I think I spent maybe $10 on these, and there you go. It's just literally like a clear acrylic rod. It's a 10 inch length, and yeah, perfect for making kind of a non-intrusive support for your piece, right? Because clear, it's not as attention-getting as, say, like an opaque piece, right? So these are wonderful. You can cut these down with a normal saw or a Dremel or something like that. They are acrylic, so they will splinter on you if you're not careful. But if you cut them right, and you can drill into them the whole 9 yards, like this one here, I actually mounted a what is it? One of these little holders for one of the models, right? I just drilled a corresponding hole into the end, and that just slots in there really, really nicely. Now, one thing that I would probably do is to make like a cover, just to, cover up that little bit up, just cover that up a little bit. But aside from that, yeah, these are wonderful. These are wonderful. So, yeah, man, you can find anything on Amazon. Amazon is, for lack of a better term, perfect. It is the perfect marketplace to find crap that you need. Right? So there you go. Let's see here. Bill says, last time got a foot-long 2x4 piece of ebony. Whew-ah. Stupid expensive cut of wood. Yeah. Holy crap, man. Persistent Turtle, Lucas over there says true on pricing for Micromark. Yeah. I do that with my camera gear as well. You got to, man. You got to. If anyone in the Virginia area, I do both woodworking and metalwork, maybe can do some collaborations. That would be pretty cool, yeah. George, Mr. Old School Gunpla says, searching now, thanks Tim, hate action bases. Yeah, dude, I do too. So the clear acrylic rod is a wonderful alternative to that. Wonderful alternative. So that's what the SD Unicorn is going to be supported by, are those clear acrylic rods. And then I figure I'm just going to paint the entire base. Well, obviously, we're going to laminate it in plastic, paint it up, just kind of a space kind of motif, and just maybe do some airbrushing effects on the back to make it look like the thrusters are lighting up and all that good stuff. But I think it's gonna be cool. So, anyway, all right. So we got our handle all done up here. Let's quickly shape this thing, because we are running out of time here. It's 4:48 already. Handren, Mr. Hasaki Art, he's over there on Facebook. He says, "Hey Tim, what's up, Handren? We're on YouTube, dude. Just in case you didn't know, because I know Handren's usually on YouTube, but he's over on Facebook. Whatever floats your boat." Sam L says, "I have a 1x1x6 piece of ebony, and it cost me like $15, so I can only imagine how expensive that was." Yeah, ebony wood is not cheap at all. Like, holy hell, man. I can only imagine. Handren says, "How's it going, brother?" Man, you know what? This is what, day 4, 5 of being laid off, so it's as good as can be expected, right? Full-time modeler, here we are. So, yeah. All right, so that looks good. Those ends are nicely cleared out. That's looking exactly where we need it to be. That slots in very nicely. Perfect. All right. Handren says, "Yeah, I thought this was quicker. LOL, change of scenery every now and then." I got you. Julius Dembski, he's got a question.
We have a question.
Sarge says, "Tim, I bought a 1/100 scale RGM86 GM3 Novell conversion kit. How can I determine what type of plastic it is made of?" 99% of the time, these things are going to be made of styrene. Simply because styrene is very inexpensive, and it's the most common plastic to mold things out of. Now, there's also ABS, which is a much tougher plastic, But what you're going to notice with ABS is that it doesn't have quite the bend to it that styrene does. So if your particular conversion kit, has a bit of bend to it, and if it starts to turn a bit white when you bend it, those stress marks and everything, chances are that's going to be styrene all day. I would try it on a piece of sprue or something like that it came on, just to see. I wouldn't obviously try it with a normal piece, but chances are very, very high that it's styrene. So, unless otherwise stated, obviously. But then also look on a lot of these have a lot of these have little tags, right? This is, see right there, the PS stands for polystyrene, right? If you see anything like that, or it might be up, this is obviously a Bandai tag, but Bandai used to put it up here, but now they have it on these little tags here, which is just underneath one of the numbers for their, on their sprue. But if it says PS, it's polystyrene. It's just normal styrene plastic like any other kit. So, yeah, go with that. I would say go with that. So, Henry says, Tim, I'm thinking of switching to more darker styrene sheets, perhaps yellow or darker ones like the ones Wave makes. It shows better in the whip pictures as well. For you on streams, I think Evergreen has it too. I'll have to look. I haven't seen, mind you, I haven't been on Evergreen's website in a while. So I'll have to double check, but I'm definitely going to use what I got at this point, because I need to make every dollar stretch at this point. So, but that's a good call, though. That is a good call. All right. Oh, cool. Mr. Bill Ruslam says, Tim sent you a link for some wood pieces on the cheap. You can share it and the site on here. Very useful for all kinds of stuff. Woodworking has very useful hand tools for us. Yeah, that's 100%, Bill. Thank you. I'll take a look at that after the stream is done, because we've got about 8 minutes or so. But let's see. So that is what the new handle is going to look like there, right? That looks pretty damn good. Now, coming back to the rifle, this is solid enough to work with at this point. It's probably not fully cured, but it's close enough. Yeah, see, you can still kind of really, you can dig into the squeeze out a little bit with your fingernail, but not by much though. So I'll tell you that this stuff cures much quicker than the Tamiya Extra Thin. That's another high point of this. But we're gonna clip off the existing handle here, and we're gonna trim this down flat. We're just basically removing all remnants of that handle from the rifle here, right? So we're just basically trimming back all the little leftover gunk, and then basically that's what we're left with. We're left with a handle-less rifle here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to marry these two up here. Now obviously we're going to need to do a little bit of shaping when it comes to attaching these two, because we're not just going to be able to attach there, because there's going to be a huge size difference between the width of the handle and the width of this little block here. So what we could possibly do is fill in this area with styrene sheet and just make this flat right across the board. That could be an option, but you know, we'll jump that hurdle when we come to it, right? So first things first is we need to kind of get a determination of angle and stuff like that. So this is essentially what we're looking at here. And that looks pretty good. And then handle comes up in there. And that's essentially going to be the positioning of everything, right? So that looks pretty good. Now, what we'll do is we will make a mark just like that. And let's see if that comes out to where we need it, right? Let's see. Yeah. That actually looks pretty good, that mark. Okay, cool. So, we'll take our nippers and we will cut right on this mark here. Just like that. And then we need to even this out. So we'll file this flat. Actually, let's take the little bastard. This is the little bastard, by the way. We haven't used it here in a couple streams, but this is a little miniature bastard file. We call it the little bastard. I think that name is funny. So that's why I used it. Okay. So that looks good there. Now, let's kind of really mock this up and see what it looks like here. So, there's that. That angle right there is pretty much dead on. That's great. That's what we want to see. All right, so we'll keep this angle intact. That looks really, really good. Now, what we need to do is get the lower length cut and shaped here. We'll put this hand back together, just like that. Mock this guy up there. That inserted, and then we can kind of gauge our lower length. And holding this all together is a chore. So you've got, yeah, and so you've got basically 4 pieces wanting to come apart. So it's not easy. Right there. And let's see. We'll call this right about here. I think that'll look good. All right, so and I cut that on a slight angle there too, if you didn't notice, right? Use the little bastard to flatten out the bottom here. Alright, so that looks good. Use the other one of these needle files to really finish off the bottom. And alright, so let's see our final dimensions, what that looks like here. Okay, so there we go. That's going to basically be our final dimensions. So you want you do want the handle to jut out from the bottom of the hand just a bit, just to have that little bit reveal. That is normal for a firearm, right? You do have that just a little bit, peeking out. So that's good. That's what we want. That's where we need to be at this point. So we can continue on this tomorrow, get it attached, get it all looking good and everything like that here too. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Hendron over there on YouTube, or on Facebook, he says, I did the same things on the weapon handles of the SD Hakushiki. Yeah, man, you gotta make them look good, right? Mr. Bill says, I was offered $100 on the spot when I opened the box for just for that one cut of wood. So yeah. Oh, he's talking about the ebony. Whew, tell me about it. Sam L says, yeah, it is hard to come by in large pieces. Bill says that box had purple heart, yellow heart, wenge, ebony, and paddock. Wow. You lucked out, buddy. Completely worth the price. Yeah. Sam L and we're talking about wood. It's funny. Let's see. All kinds of wood. Maybe Tim will take us on a field trip. You know what? I don't know if how did you send it, Bill? Did you send it through Instagram? If you send it through Instagram, I'm not going to be able to. Let's see. Yeah, looks like you sent it through Instagram. Yeah. What is it? Oh, it's Rockler. Oh, okay. It's just on Rockler then. All right, let me see. Hang on. Let me open up another tab here. Rockler. Here we go. All right, and that's the exotic hardwood cutoff. Oh, I just had it. There it is. $20 for a 5-pound box. That's not too bad. All right, so yeah, let's go on a quick field trip. All right, let's go on a quick field trip. Let's get the right window, shall we? Window capture. Come on now. Where is it? Here it is. Done. And let's see. Let's go full screeny. There we go. So yeah, so this is Rockler. This is a very well-known woodworking website, right? And this is basically what you get. You get a box of wood. Hey. Right? And then they're basically just cut-offs and stuff like that. You know, just little scrap pieces of this and that. You know, obviously great for pen and tool makers and stuff like that. But, you know, for us, this would kind of be cool for, like I said, like for, you know, little bases or base accents and things like that. So, $20 for a 5-pound box of exotic, you know, very expensive hardwood, you know, scraps and stuff. Here's some, look at this. Oh, that's pretty right there. Jeez. Yeah, and see this. You got to get creative, but some of these things that you can just go really, really, really nice material for, you know. So these are great for, you know, for individual tool makers and stuff like. Whoa, hey, we don't have a question. What was that? Anyway. So yeah, so that was Bill's field trip. So there we go. So good times, good time. Julio Ponce says Bill loves that wood. Yeah, he does. It's messed up. Bill says, yeah, never gotten a grab box with less than a $50 value from them before. For $20, it's not bad, right? That's not bad. So yeah, so fun times. So there we go. All right, you guys. Real quick, hey, strap this sucker back on. Yeah. If y'all want to rep the Army, represent, go hit up www.childofmecha.com, hit the store button up at the top. You will find this hat in three different colors. It's this nice dark gray, black, and camouflage. Yeah. So if you want to get one of these, hit up the Child of Mecha store. You'll find this hat, many more, shirts, prints, all sorts of cool stuff, right? If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we worked with here today, like the plastic magic or these awesome Tool tweezers, definitely hit up the Amazon link just below here on Twitch and YouTube. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, I do get a bit of commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it doesn't increase the cost for you, and it goes to help support me because I'm laid off and this is my job now. So go stock up on the stuff that you need, and if you are in need of kits or paints, tools, accessories, what have you, Mecha Decals, which should be shipping out sometime this week from what I'm told. Go get your orders in if you haven't done so already. Hit up our good friends right down here in the corner, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the fine folks down there will definitely have what you need. They are constantly shipping at this point because they are getting slammed with orders, you guys, and all that sorts of good stuff. So hit them up, order some stuff, get some Mecha Decals, and yeah, let's just try to make it through this thing. All right. Let's try to make it through this thing. So, all right. So in terms of schedule, I will be back tomorrow afternoon, same time, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. And then tomorrow night, we'll jump back on at 10 p.m. and continue on with the GBWC build, the RX Jesta amalgamation here. And we'll just kind of turn and burn on that. Friday is a new episode of Mechanism, so come on back for that and watch that, and then check out the rest of the early edition streams, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. the rest of the weekdays this week. So with that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Build something cool. Stay safe out there, you guys. Use common sense. Wash your hands. All right? So take care, everybody.